Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Virtual Sim Leagues here for round number 9 of the Championship, the penultimate round of the Formula Euro Open. I am Ivor Brimmer, going to be taking you through the action. Unfortunately, no Jess with us here tonight, but I believe Jess will be back next week, feeling refreshed after a lovely little holiday. So we wish Jess all the best on her holiday, and hopefully she comes back absolutely refreshed. But yeah, we are here for the circuit, the Barcelona Catalonia, for round number 9 of the championship. Of course, the 4.6 kilometer circuit, 2.8 miles in length, almost 2.9 miles in length, as we have 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right. And of course 2 DRS zones, 1 down in towards turn number 1 and 1 in towards turn number 10. The tyre compounds for tonight is the C3 soft tyres, C2 mediums and C1 hard compound tyres. And as we are here in qualifying, the man who is furthest along is Flexi. So we'll go on board with Flexi. Of course, there is an issue right now in terms of the recent update. It has meant that unfortunately the equal performing F1 cars are no longer equal, which is unfortunate. So everyone has switched over to multiplayer cars, so this session will be run in multiplayer cars. Running down in towards turn number 1 now, on board with Flexi as he comes through 4th gear, going a little bit deep into turn 1, definitely compromised him a little bit through turn 2. Now through turn 3, foot to the floor, making sure that he keeps his foot planted and the throttle in to get himself the first sector split of a 21.7 through turn 4. Now in towards turn number 5. Important to get a good exit here. Key attraction zone coming out of turn 5. Could catch a fair few people out. Now into the uphill, left, right, or 7 and 8, where it's so easy to pick up a warning and a validation or to lose the car, and through the near flat out turn 9. DRS wide open once again, all the way down in towards turn number 10, where we will be seeing a fair few overtaking manoeuvres, that is for sure. Of course, with the reprofiling of that corner is a little bit wider to promote a bit more side-by-side action. And of course, gone is the final sector, the final chicane. We reverted back to the old turn 13, and that of course brings us into 14, and across the line will come Flexi with an 11.8 to get us underway in this session, as Waitsley crosses the line with a 13.9. As Leroy up there into P2 with a 12.4. On board with Tib now, coming through the final sector. Let's see what Tib can do as he's approaching turn 13. Absolute full commitment there, and obviously a little bit of a lift off through the final corner as we come to the line, and it's going to be P2 for Tib. A 1 minute 12 flat. CPI Jinx is currently out there on track right now, and of course Jinx, a very competitive driver here in Virtual Sim Leagues, of course, a former multi-time race winner, and yeah, of course last time out he did manage to take victory at round 8 at the fantastic Baku circuit. Of course, Jinx was able to take victory there. It was, however, a bit of a glitch lobby, so it was called a red flag early on, so there was only half points available for the drivers out there. So in terms of the championship, okay, let's have a little look at the regional championship first and foremost. So the Mata currently leads the way in the Formula Euro Open. He is on 42 points, with 36 points going to second place man currently is Glock. Then of course we got Casper currently in third on 35 points, and then 32 points apiece in fourth and fifth is Yaham and Enzo Max. Flexi is currently in 6th place in the Formula Euro Open. He's currently on 30 points. And then we have a 8.5 point gap back to 7th place man Speed Gaff. CPI Twisted is currently on 18 points, and of course 17 points for Speed Knighton. And then of course we got Leroy rounding out the top 10 with, I believe it is, let's quickly get that, yep, 15 points for Leroy, and he rounds out the top 10. So after the first round of qualifying laps have come in, we have seen Glock take provisional pole with a 11.2. Finley currently in P2, joining him on the front row with an 11.4. Just ahead of Enzo Max, currently in P3 on 11.4. Also, the Mata on an 11.6. Flexi on an 11.8. 11.9 for both Yaham and Lakatu. And of course, a 12 flat for Tib in 8th. 9th is Knighton on a 12.1, and of course 10th place out of the session so far is Leroy. Oh my god! Casper running straight into the back of the Mata there. Not exactly knowing the words for that, but Casper has come straight into the pit and retired from the session. Obviously not too happy with that. But yeah, big collision here in qualifying, as Casper just runs straight into the back of the Mata there. I'm not sure if there was like a desync or something, but in my opinion, I mean, Casper should have been well aware of what, well, he should have been well aware of the car in front of him. That's just me speaking objectively, because he could have very easily avoided Mata, but ran into the back of him, and honestly, it's not ideal to change your racing line here in qualifying, but sometimes it needs to be done. Rushing on an invalid run so far. We got Nick Racegan out there on an outlap. We're on board with Tib right now, coming through the first sector. Let's see what the XE Sportsman can do. Of course, Tib normally in the Aston Martin F1 car, so all points gained for Tib will be added to the Aston Martin Constructors Championship, that is for sure. Tib now into the final sector, looking to get himself up the order and ahead of several of the guys in front of him. A 10th improvement, or a 10th and a half improvement. We'll see him jump up into P6, but he's going to bail out and come into the pits. Obviously not getting the time that he would have liked. Flexi just getting his lap underway. We have Enzo Max also underway on his lap as well. He is coming through sector 1 right now. I believe Nick is also out there on a fast lap. He's a bit further ahead, so we'll stay on board with Nick, and we'll get ready to jump on board with Enzo as soon as Nick crosses the line. Nick there, 6 tenths up on his time in Sector 2. That is a big improvement there from Nick Racegan. And is one, currently only jumps him up one position, but remember, I believe the previous lap time was set on the set of the medium compound tyre. So through the final corner will come Nick. Where's he going to go? He goes up into P5 as we go on board with Enzo as he crosses the line and he bails out. Flexi back into the pits. Yaham just getting his lap underway. Lakatu coming towards the end of his lap. He's currently up on his time, looking to get himself up a few positions here. Coming through the final corner now is Lakatu, and to the line he'll come, and it's going to be an 11.2. Gets himself onto the front row as Glock improves with 11.1, and he pushes the benchmark even higher for these guys here tonight in qualifying. Of course, Glock, the overall championship leader in the whole grand scheme of things, currently on 118 points. His nearest competition is Andreas on 105, and then of course is Casper on 93 points. So that is the top three in the drivers. The overall championship. Obviously, right now we're in the second of the 3 regional championships. Of course, round number 9 and round number 10 being the final 2 races in the Formula Euro Open. Currently, the Mata leads the way in the regional championship. So it will be interesting to see who will come out on top in the regional title, as we got Finley to the line. 2 attempts to improvement. Gets himself up onto the front row. Finley with 11.1. He is matching Glock every step of the way here. The Mata, the regional championship leader right now, on a fast lap. Currently in 6th place. Not too much he needs to gain to get himself ahead of Yaham, and even get himself ahead of Knighton, who was just gone ahead of him up into P6. Go Speed Knighton. Big Boy Ewan has joined the session. Of course, he'll be starting from down yonder, as I don't believe he'll be able to take control of a car and get a lap underway here. But the Mata now through the final sector. Doesn't need to do much to improve and get himself up into P5, but anything more and he could be looking towards the top front row, as it is well off the pace there for Mata, and unfortunate for him, I believe he may have had a big mistake on his lap that has led to that. Flexi on another outlap. We got Tib on an outlap. We got Waitsy on an outlap. Flexi is going to be just starting his lap right now. I believe everyone else on a lap currently is on their way back to the pit. So we're still aboard with Flexi. He is in the pink Alpine car. Of course, taking it back a few seasons ago, back when the Alpines were a fantastic pink colour. As we go into turn number 5. Let's go to everyone in the chat. I do apologise if I am a little bit out of it tonight. Obviously, I have been awake for, well, over 24 hours, and I was only able to get an hour's kipping just before the race started, so I haven't had much sleep and I've been awake an awful long time. So I do apologise if I am a little bit slow and a little bit sluggish, and if the energy is a little bit up and down. I will try my best to keep the energy quite high, but I'm sure you guys can understand as Flexi comes through the final corner and he goes up into P4 with an 11.4. Flexi getting himself onto the second row of the grid. So that's a good job there from Flexi. Tib is on a flying lap right now, and he is 4 attempts up in Sector 1. This is good enough right now to get him thereabouts with the likes of Knighton and the Mata, and of course Yaham for P6. Any more improvements in the middle sector, and he could be looking at challenging the likes of Enzo and Flexi here. As Waitsy has just improved and got himself up into P10 with 11.8. Tib in the middle sector. 5 tenths up. This will get him up into P6. But can he find any more time in the final sector to get himself ahead of the likes of Enzo and Flexi? No, he runs too wide on the exit of turn 12. And that is going to be an invalidation there for Tib. As we're going to go on board with this man, because this man currently on provisional pole. Let's go on a full lap here with Glock, and I am going to allow this lap to unfold without much in terms of commentary from me. I'm just going to allow the lap to unfold, and let's see how Glock does the lap here at Spain. Okay, as we saw there, Glock unable to get a quicker lap time under his belt. And of course, that has meant that he's come into the pits and retired from the session just over a minute to go in the session. If you're not out on the track right now, you are not going to be getting a lap time on the board. On board with Yarham right now, currently 6th place on a 11.6. In the middle sector, he's 76 thousandths of a second up on his time. Can he get himself any further up the pecking order? He needs a bit more time if he wants to get himself ahead of the likes of Enzo and Flexi, who are both out there on outlap. So last lap attempt for Yarham coming through the final corner. Yarham to the line, and it's going to be an 11.5. There's a 10th improvement, but not enough to challenge these guys up ahead of him. As Lakatu has just started his lap. Finley right now with an opportunity to try and take pole position away from Glock. So we will come back on board with Finley later on in the lap as we see Flexi that has just crossed the line. We got Jinx now in the final sector. He's coming through the penultimate corner. And now through the final corner goes Jinx to the line right now. He hasn't got a lap on the board, but this will be his one and only chance. And he's up into P3. Good lap there from Jinx under pressure. As Knighton there goes up into P6 there. Nick Race again, currently 2 times up on his time. Can he go up ahead of Yarham? He goes up into P9, so loses a bit of time in the final sector. Finley now, 4 tenths down on his previous lap time. He's not going to be moving up the order, but he is currently on the front row. Likatu has gone absolutely wide into the gravel. He's gone off building some sandcastles as we got Enzo to the line. Oh, that's a dangerous re-entry there from Lakatu. And that has... honestly, Enzo was up on his time. To my knowledge, Enzo was up on his time. At least that's what the middle sector said. Yeah, he was over a tenth up. Enzo could have potentially got himself onto the front row if it wasn't for this man, Lakatu. Well, drama here in qualifying, but we're going to go ahead and run you through the order. Of course, it is Glock who takes victory ahead of Finley in second place. Jinx in third with Lakatu in fourth. Enzo in fifth. Lamada in 6th, Flexi in 7th for Speed Knighton in 8th, Yarham in 9th, and Nick Racigan rounding out the top 10. Outside of the top 10 we have Waitsy in 11th, Tib in 12th, Speed Garth in 13th, Leroy in 14th, Yoshin in 15th, and then of course we got Big Boy UN who joined the session late in 16th, and of course Casper in 17th place. So we do have 17 drivers here to race tonight. And it's going to be interesting. I think we may get a restart to the lobby, just because of the 5-place grid penalty. We have to get confirmation of that, and we'll see what goes on. Potentially could be a restart to the lobby. Because of course Jinx got a 5-place grid drop after Casper DNF'd and the game reset him onto track, so it's an unfair time penalty for well, an unfair grid penalty for Jinx there. We will get confirmation just in a moment. Whether or not it will be a lobby reset, we will wait and see. But it is the formation lap right now, so we can have a look and see what tyres everyone has decided to go for. A nice little split in terms of tyre compounds. Glock and Finley at the front, both going for a set of hard compound tyres. Then we got Lakatu and Enzo going for a set of the mediums. The Mata going for a set of hards. And then of course we got Flexi and Knighton on a set of mediums. Jinx on a set of the soft compound tyres. Yaham on a set of the hards. Nick Racigan, Waitsy and Tib for a set of the mediums. Speed Garth on a set of hards. Leroy on a set of mediums. Yoshin on a set of hards, Big Boy UN on a set of soft tyres, and of course Casper on a set of hard tyres at the back of the grid. As we got Tad in the chat saying hello, hello Tad, how are you doing this evening, mate? 33 laps awaiting these drivers. I've not heard any information whether there will be a restart here for Jinx's time penalty, so I think we are going to continue on and bear with. So unfortunate for Jinx, because of course he picked up that 5-place grid penalty. Not his own fault, to be fair, because obviously Casper crashed into the wall and the game reset him, and that just completely destroyed Jinx here. Of course, 33 laps awaiting everyone here tonight around this 4.6 kilometer circuit in length, almost 2.9 miles in length as well. 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right. C3 soft, C2 mediums and C1 hard compound tyres, the tyres of choice here tonight as we wait for those 5 red lights to get underway. And we'll go on board with Glock so we can see the 5 red lights, and we shall get underway. Here we go now to 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway here at Spain, and it looks like a very good start from Glock, able to hold off on Finley on the run down in towards turn 1. Jinx getting a good start, getting himself up ahead of Flexi and Yaham early on a set of those soft compound tyres as they funnel through turns 1, 2 and 3. And Jinx now already up to P5 on a set of those soft tyres as he's looking down the inside of Enzo for P4. Jinx moving up the order once again. Of course, taking the win last time out in Baku. He's looking for back-to-back positions here as the Mata gets a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision with Flexi here. So VSC catching these guys out, and is there any possible damage on that Red Bull car for the Mata? Of course, we are using the multiplayer cars here tonight. Unfortunately, the latest update of the F1 game has unfortunately led to the equal performing cars to be no longer equal. So we've had to switch over to the multiplayer cars for this race. Hopefully the patch to fix that will be done ASAP. And obviously in terms of the race, Glock gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, and he's under immediate pressure from Finley on this restart. Down in towards turn 1, Finley looking to the inside. Is he going to make the move? No, he sticks in behind Glock for the time being, but that is a big blow for Glock in this race. Of course, he is going to have to serve that drive-through penalty within 3 racing laps. And Finley, knowing that, is just going to bide his time, I think. As look at that, Jinx on those soft tyres, looking to try and get the move done around Lakatu, around the outside at turn 5, unable to do so, does not have the grip to go all the way around the outside there. Big boy Ewan up in the P11, getting through on Gareth here for P11, as Flexi and Enzo side by side coming through 7 and 8 as they come up the hill towards turn 9, and it's Enzo who wins that exchange. The top 6 have broken away from the rest of the pack as Nick race again 2.5 seconds behind. But look at this as Yoshin and Waitsy side by side coming through turn 10, and Yoshin gets that move done. As look at this, Leroy and Big Boy Ewan. Big Boy Ewan trying to use those soft tyres to good effect early on in this race to get himself up the order as best as possible for the final corner. He will have the grip, but has to lift off a little bit more than Leroy had to. And look at this now, Jinx down the inside in towards turn 1, contact between him and Lakatu, and around goes Jinx. Jinx falling down the order now, down towards outside the top 10, down in towards P11, P12 now, as he's in a battle with Casper and Leroy here for the final position inside the top 10. As Jinx is back down the inside of Casper. Job done there through turn 4. And Big Boy Ewan picks up a 3-second time, actually a 5-second, for ignoring yellow flags. Apologies, I thought I said 3 seconds for a second, but no, that's a 5-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags there. DRS now, of course, being enabled in this race. Glock will have to serve that drive-through penalty, and that will release Finley into the race lead. And there we go, Glock into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty. He'll fumble all the way down the order as Finley takes the lead in this race. Lakatu currently in P2 with Enzo in P3, Flexi in P4, Nick Racigan in P5. Without the help of DRS, going to be overtaken by Yoshin as they run down in towards turn number 1. So now Yoshin up into P5, Nick Racigan down into P6. Big Boy Ewan on those soft tyres has a few attempts to make up in this middle sector if he wants to try and get within DRS range. He is kind of bringing it along. The likes of Waitsy, Leroy, Casper and Jinx here, and he's bringing them up the order. Glock, after that drive-through penalty, has come out around about 8 seconds off the back of this train for P7. So he has a lot of work to do to get himself back into a big point-paying position in this race. We'll go back up towards the front because now Lakatu with DRS should really be getting this move done now in towards turn number 1. And he's on the ERS. He's using the DRS and he's going to draw alongside Finley. And he will be taking the race lead as we head down into turn number 1 here on lap 5 of 33. Nick Racegun getting back through once again on Yoshin for P5. And Leroy sticking it in behind Casper at the moment for that battle between P9 and P10. As Yoshin actually almost trying to come back at Nick Racegun there. Out of turn 3 in towards turn number 4. But of course Nick Racegun able to hold on to that position. And what a run from Yoshin out of turn 9. Sorry, I was taking a little drink and that then as Yoshin gets the move done back up into P5. Fantastic run out of turn 9 there for Yoshin, and he's able to get that move done in towards turn number 10. Fantastic move from, I believe, a reserve driver here tonight. And to my knowledge, first time he has raced in this field this season. So, I mean, he's given himself a great account so far as Nick Racegun gets back through with DRS down in towards turn 1. But a great first day performance for Yoshin here through Spain thus far. Currently in P6 over the back of Nick Racegun for P7. On a set of the hard compound tyres, only one hard runner ahead of him, and that is of course Finley currently in P2, who's under a bit of pressure from Enzo, who looked like he went for a move in towards turn number 5, and that will put Enzo under a little bit of pressure from Flexi in behind in P4. Actually right now trying to stay as close as possible to the back of Enzo, because he knows that his only hope of getting through on Enzo up ahead is if he's close enough with DRS and uses a bit of battery. But here goes Finley for the race lead once again. Job done for Finley, back up into the race lead as Tib retires from the session on the exit of turn 4. Will that trigger a virtual safety car or full course safety car? Time will tell. In fact, it looks like he may have retired under his own influence here. There he is. He's pulled off to the side. I think a big mistake has happened there from Tib, and he's decided to call it quits right there. You don't like to see that, especially retiring out on track, because it can change the dynamic here in the race. But under normal conditions, if you are going to retire from the race, I would highly recommend making sure you get to the pit lane as Casper making a move on Waitsy. The two ERT drivers trading positions here as Casper gets through on Waitsy. Up in the P8 now goes Casper. Lap 7 of 33. Finley leads the way and actually is beginning to build a bit of a gap to Lakatu, but Lakatu with DRS will just be able to close back in, and he will be able to defend from the likes of Enzo and Flexi in behind. Yoshin 3 seconds back. He is under a bit of pressure from Nick Race again, who's going to be all the way around the outside, literally having to go on to the curb on the outside to try and find a bit of space there, but was unable to make a move, and that potentially will just got a little bit of dirt on his tyres, you know, and that will just compromise him in the next few corners. So we could see Ewan close up a little bit. But Ewan, 7 lap soft tyres. Obviously we are on lap 8 now. Are these soft tyres beginning to fall away from Ewan and Jinx here? is the big question. The top 4 in a bit of a DRS train on their own right now. Finley leading ahead of Lakatu in second place. Enzo Max in P3 with Flexi in P4. Then we've got a 3-second gap back to Yoshin in 5th place, who is pulling away from Nick Race again, but Nick with DRS is just going to consistently stick with him here. Big Boy Ewan in this train as well, and so is Casper. So we have a 4-car train for P5. Just outside that train is of course Waitsy, who will be coming under pressure very soon from Leroy as Jinx is into the pits, making his first pit stop of the evening. And will we be seeing a set of mediums or a set of hards going onto that car? Let's have a look here. And it is a set of the C1 hard compound tyres on Jinx's car, as Yaham will go through up into P13 as Casper gets the job done there on Big Boy Ewan. So an indication there that these soft tyres are perhaps falling away from these guys, and we're not too far away from the mediums falling away. So Finley right now in a very good position and could potentially continue to pull away from these guys behind once their tyres age just a little bit further. Speed Knight then into the pits, retires from the session, and that is the correct way to retire from the session, ladies and gentlemen. If you are going to retire, that is the preferable way that we would like to see it done, because then it is no detriment to any of the drivers out there on track. So it doesn't trigger no safety cars, virtual safety cars, or anything as such. As here comes Lakatu down the inside of Finley. Job done for Lakatu. Back up into the race seat he goes, but Finley around the outside at turn 3. Surely not, but he might get a switchback here if he can get his line right and maybe have a look into turn 4. No, he's going to sit in behind Lakatu here. Lap 10 of 33, Lakatu leads away from Finley in second place. Enzo in P3 with Flexi in P4. 3-second gap back to Yoshin in P5, who's defending hard from Nick Racigan in P6. Casper is just outside that 1 second window, but he should potentially, yeah, he's just been set on DRS here. He is pushing to get himself back within DRS range of these guys ahead, but he now has Big Boy Ewan to concern himself with as we come into the final sector. And obviously back from that we got Waitsy in a bit of a no man's land, 2.5 seconds back from Big Boy Ewan and almost 2 seconds ahead of Speed Gareth, who also has 1.5 seconds to Leroy. Glock after his drive-through penalty currently in P12, trying to make his way back through the field as Finley once again with DRS gets through on Lakatu, but Enzo now going to follow him through as well. Down the inside into turn 1 goes Enzo as Lakatu and Enzo side by side through turn 3. Who's going to have the upper hand here? And it is Lakatu. But look at this, Enzo, a little dab of ERS, sends one down the inside into turn 4, but unable to make that move down. Look at Flexi now. Flexi with a better run out of turn 4 and just unable to get alongside enough for turn 5. But the battling from these guys has almost lost them. DRS on Finley. So if Finley can have a good final sector here, as Lakatu there runs very wide through turn number 9, and of course now he has dropped outside the DRS range, and Lakatu gets a bit of a snap, and now we got Enzo around the outside through turn 12. This surely isn't going to work, but it has. Enzo up into P2 now, but Finley has a golden opportunity now to just keep pulling away, keep himself going, as now Lakatu with DRS should be able to come back at Enzo here, but it's not going to be a massive time gain on the likes of Finley up ahead, as down in towards turn 1, Lakatu back up into P2, Enzo back down into P3. Good run out of turn 3 from Enzo, and potentially could have had a little luck on Lakatu there for turn 4, but the one bit of information that Enzo did just get as we approach the break-in for turn number 4 the flash of the red light underneath that car, indicating that Lakatu has less than 10%, did just happen right as we went into the braking zone. And as you can see, only 6% gained thus far from Lakatu. So Enzo in the ascendancy here with the ERS battery. Same with Flexi actually. So if they both want to get past Lakatu, they could both very easily get it done here on this straight with a little dab of ERS. And Flexi going to use a bit of battery to close up. Enzo not going to use any batteries, just going to use the power of the DRS. And once again, you see the flash of red on the back of Lakatu's car. Oh my god, Enzo getting a little bit of a snap there. And that allows Flexi through. Up into P3 goes Flexi. A small mistake there from Enzo. And he loses out to Flexi. Nick Racing gets through on Yoshin for P5. Casper falling further and further away from this as yeah, I tell you what, Glock trying to make his way back up the order. He's managed to get himself ahead of Leroy now. He's up in the P10, closing up to the back of Speed Gareth. Of course, he is some distance away off the race leader, and of course that is the gap right there, 14.6 seconds off the back of Finley. So he has all that time to gain over the next 20 laps in this race. We're on lap 13 of 33. Finley leads the way. He has a 1.6 second gap to Lakatu in P2. Lakatu just doing enough right now, I think, to keep Flexi out of DRS, and he has just about done enough. But of course, Lakatu, a lack of ERS is not really going to help him as Yoshin gets back through on Nick Race again for P5. As they travel down in towards turn number 1, and here comes Glock straight through on Gareth here. Around the outside in towards turn 1, Gareth not really going to fight it, and yep, Glock through up into P9 and now has a 3.2 second gap to close in on Waitsy up ahead. Flexi there, unable to get back within DRS range of Lakatu. And of course, the longer this goes on, the better it is for the likes of Enzo, because once Enzo overtakes Flexi, the DRS should help Enzo just to quickly get within DRS range of Lakatu. And it looks like now Flexi in this final sector has managed to bridge the gap up ahead and bring it within DRS range. So now Flexi able to save a bit of battery here. Lap 15 of 33, Finley leading the way quite comfortably right now. He has that 1.7 second gap and he is just holding it. The tyres right now, 14 lap old mediums and hard compound tyres for majority of the grid. The only drivers to make a pit stop so far, Jinx, who is on 6 lap old hard tyres, Leroy on fresh hard tyres, Big Boy Ewan on relatively fresh mediums, only 1 lap old, and of course 13 lap old tyres for Yaham and Ramada. Block making steady progress after his drive-through penalty. He's trying to get himself back into this race. Remember, he's on a set of the hard tyres, so all the work he does on this stint, he will have a bit of a benefit on the current medium runners as they switch over to the opposite tyre compound, because he will be on the mediums and have the ability to go a bit faster. So the work that Glock is doing right now is good enough that he can salvage some good points here. Flexi closing in with DRS. The flash of red light up ahead indicating Lakatu less than 10% ERS. And now will Flexi have a little look down the inside in towards turn number 4. No, he will not. And meanwhile, in behind, Nick Racegun once again getting through on Yoshin with DRS. They are just DRS switching each other every single lap. So they're not really losing a huge amount of time to these guys up ahead because they're just trading positions back and forth. And look at this, Flexi, good run out of turn 5 down the inside of Lakatu, gets the job done. But Lakatu won't be too disheartened, but actually our DRS comes straight back at Flexi here. Through turn 9 in towards turn number 10. And Lakatu will have the ability to come back at Flexi in towards turn number 1. Enzo though in a good position with the amount of VRS battery that he's managed to save up in this train. He's coming to over 50% battery, as you can see Lakatu on just under 20, and of course 20 for Flexi, and Lakatu is in, so is Flexi, and now Enzo is going to try and push. This will be interesting to see where Flexi and Lakatu come out relative to the likes of Jinx. Remember, Jinx had that incident early on with Lakatu, which of course dropped him well down the order, so it'll be interesting to see where they come out relative to him. So he has gone for a big old undercut, and he is coming down. Well, actually, he's already passed him, so we're going to see what the gap is, and the gap is 5 seconds, the gap between Jinx and Flexi. So right now, I mean, once Finley makes his pit stop, and obviously Enzo and everyone ahead, Jinx will be in the lead of this race. But once Finley switches over to the medium compound tyres, it's going to be very difficult to keep him behind, that is for sure, as Finley with a 3.5 second gap to Enzo. Yoshin is beginning to close in on Enzo up ahead. Now Enzo does not have DRS anymore, so now we could see if Yoshin has the pace to close up naturally here. He is on the hard tyres versus the mediums up ahead, and of course Nick Racigan, his tyres are going to begin to fall away as well. Casper dropping outside that 1 second window on Racigan, as Waitsy is going to be coming under pressure very soon from Glock, as Jinx is doing his best to close in on Gareth here for P8. Of course Jinx having a few time penalties to his name, same with Casper. Bit of a slide there from Jinx coming through turn 4. Just going to compromise him just a little bit, lose a bit of time to Flexi in behind. Jinx will have to wait for DRS. Question is, will he be impatient and get it done here in towards turn 10, or will he save it and go for the move into turn 1? That is the question. But through turn 9 he'll come now, and yeah, he's not wasting any time. He wants to get this move done. He's lost way too much time to Flexi already on this lap to stay behind Speed Garth for another sector. So Jinx up into P8, continuing his charge up the grid now. Glock is into the pits. Of course Glock, the drive-through penalty that he served early on in this race, he is trying to make a comeback here, so he will drop well down in the order. I believe he will come out in last place, but there are several cars ahead of him that still need to make a pit stop, so we'll see if Glock can make a comeback here in this race. Of course, the drive-through penalty not ideal for him. Ideally, he needs a bit of an SC to kind of save him here in this race. But Flexi and Lakatu will go in side by side, as that is Yaham off into the gravel on the exit of turn 2, but Yaham needs to get himself going again. And he does. So Yaham drops all the way to the back of the grid, needs to make a pit stop as well. So it's all gone horribly wrong for Yaham in this race, but Yaham with dirt on his tyres, really struggling to keep that car on track. I'm going to stay on board with him because I want to make sure that he does not do anything silly that triggers a safety car, you know. And Johan getting a little bit wide, picking up a 3-second time penalty. May potentially come into the pits and retire from the race now. Which of course we don't like to see, as Waitsy and Nick putting on a set of the soft compound tyres here on lap 20. This is a big call, and Johan has gone around again. Obviously no safety car or VSC being triggered so far. Obviously his tyres are definitely going to be overheated, so he's going to peel off now into the pits, and I think, oh no, came into the pit lane, but just carried straight on and rejoined the track. Yoshin not really closing in on Enzo as much as he would have hoped for. Nick Race again coming out around about 8.2 seconds behind the back of Lakatu, as he gets through on Speed Garth now for P7, trying to follow Flexi and make sure he doesn't lose any time to the man who's currently in P6. This is going to be interesting to see where Enzo comes out, because he should come out ahead of Nick. But Nick on those soft tyres will have that undercut and will close in quite a bit. And as you can see, the gap is just under 2 seconds now. And Enzo on those soft tyres, can he catch up to the likes of Flexi and Lakatu here? That's the question. The gap between Flexi and Lakatu as well as Jinx is only around 2 seconds now. In terms of the pit stop window, looking at it right now, Finley will come out behind Gareth right now if he was to come into the pits at the end of this lap. He should come out ahead of Enzo, and he may end up battling Enzo. So the net top 3 in this race is Jinx currently in the net race lead, Flexing in the net P2, and of course Lakatu in the net P3. Yoshin into the pits. Of course he was 6.5 seconds behind Finley on pit entry, so we're going to see where Yoshin comes out, because I have a feeling he's going to come out in between the likes of Nick and Glock. Glock currently in P10, and it's been a good recovery drive for Glock here in this race. Yoshin going for a set of the medium compound tyres. Nick Race again with a new fastest lap with a 1:13.9, and that is immediately beaten by Glock with a 13.8, and there we go. Yeah, Yoshin coming out in between Nick and Glock there, as Waitsy gets through on the Mata. Up into P11 goes Waitsy. Lap 22 of 33. We are 2/3 of the way through this race. Finley still needs to make his pit stop though, as does Casper in P2. Jinx was on the set of softs and made a very early pit stop onto the set of hards, and now he's paying the price for it, because Lakatu and Flexi now closing up to the back of him. Speed Garth also out of sync in this race, hasn't made a pit stop yet. He's going to be under pressure from Enzo and Nick Racegan here as we travel down the start finish straight. Finley now into the pit lane, so we're going to see where Finley comes out. I believe he'll come out around this battle between Gareth, Enzo and Nick here. And it's going to be fresh soft tyres for Finley. And in fact, he might even come out behind these guys. No, he's going to come out just ahead. So Finley, absolute fantastic pit stop from him, because he has just managed to come out ahead of Enzo, Gareth and Nick. And now, 2 lap fresher tyres. A bit more ERS to play with. Can he get away from Enzo here? As Nick around the outside at turn 5 on Speed Garth, job done. And there wasn't much competition there. Fresh soft tyres versus very worn hard tyres. There is really no competition. Lakatu has managed to get through on Jinx, and here comes Flexi now on the run down in towards turn number 10. Flexi around the outside. Can he make this stick, as he has the grip to go all the way around the outside? And he'll have the inside there for turn 12. Job done for Flexi up into a net P2. Still waiting on Casper to make his pit stop. And obviously Speed, Gareth, they are the only 2 drivers yet to make a pit stop in this race. Everyone else has made their pit stops. Now, this is going to be interesting because Jinx is coming back at Flexi here with DRS down in towards turn number 1. But of course, neither have DRS now on Lakitu, who's in the race lead and in the ascendancy here, as Flexi got so much more grip compared to Jinx here. It's going to be difficult for Jinx to hold on to this, but the Lumen Flat in behind of Finley, Enzo and Nick on those soft tyres. That is the Lumen Flat for these guys now. Their podium and race winning hopes rest on these soft tyres completely falling off by the time they catch up. And Enzo missing out on DRS on Finley here in towards turn 10, and that could be Finley now gone clear as Yoshin gets through on Speed Gaff. Up in the P8 goes Yoshin. It's been a good account for Yoshin here tonight. Absolutely stellar drive so far, and has a good position. Obviously, if the soft tyres wear out, he's in a good spot to come back at these guys later in this race as Flexi gets back through on Jinx once again with DRS in towards turn number 1. So Flexi now back up into P2. Net P2 as we're still waiting for Casper to make his pit stop. Jinx now down to P3 and we'll have Finley on the back of him within, I want to say, 2 corners. And I think I'm right in saying 2 corners because here we go now through turns 7 and 8. And the gap is around about half a second, so we shall see. Both Flexi and Jinx do not have the ERS that Finley has. So Finley has the advantage in terms of the tyres, but also has the advantage in terms of ERS as well. Obviously he will have DRS, so he will have to try and use a bit of his battery to get through on Jinx here, but so much more grip through the final corner. And that flash of red light in the back, and look at this, it's going to be a double overtake here for Finley down in towards turn 1 on the soft tyres. Job done for Finley, back up into a race winning position. Finley is in now because all he has to do is close up to the back of Lakitu and get through and pull away. And on those tyres, I think he has a good chance of doing so. It's a case of will they hold on at the end to maintain the lead that he does get. Because right now, he has the time on these tyres to get through. Yaham into the pits with tyres from the session. Heartbreak race for Yaham. It has not gone his way here tonight. But Finley now doing his best to close up to Lakitu, and this is big for Jinx and Flexi as well because they do have Enzo now in the DRS train as well. But for Jinx and Flexi, staying with Finley here could help them get towed into DRS on Lakitu. But as you can see, Jinx falling away from Finley in the final sector. Casper finally comes into the pit lane, and I believe that's Lakitu into the pits as well. No, that's Jinx. Jinx in the pits. Jinx retiring from the session. So Jinx calling it there for today as Finley overtakes for the race lead. So Jinx, last week's race winner. Oh my god! What has just happened? I am flabbergasted with what we just saw there. Here's a full course safety car. Everyone will be coming into the pit, so Jinx will be absolutely fuming that he retired from the race. Well, this race has now just been turned completely on its head. Yep, Flexi, Enzo into the pits, and I believe everyone else will follow suit as well. But my God, controversy here in Spain. I believe that was Yaham's car, obviously retired in the pit lane, which of course you are supposed to do. But for some reason, the game decided to not ghost the car that was DNF. And through turn 2, it collected both Finley and Lakatu. And Finley was on course to take a race win here. Lakatu was on course to take a podium. But now, both of those drivers are out. Jinx came into the pits. Honestly, Jinx retired in the pits around about 10 seconds too soon. Ten seconds too soon. Absolute heartbreak for both Finley and Lakatu. I mean, I legit have no words for what we saw. That is a bizarre outcome that we just seen right there. Both Finley and Lakatu out of this race. Finley was on course to take a race win here, and I don't think it was really going to be much arguments that Finley deserved it. She just had the pace here today. But due to the game not ghosting Yaham's DNF'd car, and it was parked on the racing lane on the exit of turn 2, it has led to both Finley and Lakatu out of this race. And what this does now, look at the time penalty situation as Casper has 6 seconds of time penalty, so this is not good for Casper. He's going to lose a whole heap of spots here. And I'm going to bring up the championship here, because obviously, I mean, the Mata was leading the way in terms of the regional title coming in tonight, but Glock was in second place. There was 6 points between them. The Mata's in 10th place and Glock coming in P6. Obviously both of them in the position to jump up an extra spot due to Casper's penalty. Glock has an opportunity now to get a podium out of this, potentially even a race win, because Glock's pace has been good. He's just had to serve that drive through, so he's been at the back for the majority of this race. Honestly, heartbreak for Finley. Heartbreak for Lakatu. Safety car is in this lap. Lap 29. We'll have 4 racing laps remaining in this race. And oh! Flexi tapping the back of Casper and getting a 5-second collision there. Not sure what exactly happened. I think Flexi may be looking to put in a protest to that after this race is concluded, but Casper is going to control the pace and control the restart as the safety car is now peeling off into the garage, and Casper is gone. Who is going to be brave on this restart as we begin lap 30 of 33? Here's a 4-lap shootout between 11 drivers here, looking to try and get a race win here in Spain. For Glock, this is about jockeying for a position in terms of being able to take the regional championship in the Formula Euro Open, and of course extending his overall championship lead in the standings. Currently on 118 points, and his nearest competitor is 13 points behind him, and then the next nearest is Casper, who is leading this race by 6 seconds of time penalties. Casper currently has 93 points, so we're talking 25 points. And oh my god, 2x2 like Noah's Ark up ahead. Enzo on Casper, Flexi on Enzo and Flexi side by side through turns 10 and 11, as you got Race Again and Yoshino side by side, and Flexi gets hung out to dry by Enzo, and now is under pressure from Nick Race Again, who's looking to get a podium in this race, and he's going to cruise on by with ERS on Flexi, but Yoshin is in there as well. Down the inside goes Yoshin up into P3 in this race, of course, a net P2 with the time penalty situation, as Nick using a bit of battery to get himself on the inside for turn number 4. Glock is through on Flexi as well. Down the inside goes Glock into turn 4. Job done for Glock, and Nick Race Again unable to get the job done. So turn number 5 is going to be contested here by Yoshin, and that's allowing Enzo to get away and get clear, as Yoshin down the inside into 7 and 8. Yoshin holding on to P3, and now Glock on the back of Nick Race Again. He's going to look to the outside for turn number 10. Can Glock make this move stick as he goes around the outside of turn 10? And Nick Race Again fighting hard, but Glock will have the inside for 11 and 12, and his job done there for Glock. Up into P4 goes the overall championship leader, and of course he, as it currently stands, will be taking the lead in the regional championship for the Formula Euro Open. Lap 32 of 33, we are on the penultimate lap of this race. Of course DRS is enabled this lap, and for Enzo and Casper it's okay. For Yoshin though, not so much, because he could lose out on a podium here. Because not only has he got to be concerned with Glock in behind, also he's got to be concerned with Nick Race Again. Maybe even Flexi as well. Big boy Ewan up in the P7. Good recovery drive from him. Mada now up into 9th place. And obviously the Mada trying to maintain the championship lead in the regional championship, that is. And oh, Flexi getting a little bit wide onto the gravel. Big boy Ewan through up in the P6. So Flexi making a small mistake there, and that allows big boy Ewan to get through. This final lap now is about to get a little bit spicy, but it looks like Yoshin pulling away from Glock here. But Glock will have DRS, so he will close up and he will have an opportunity in towards turn 10. But with DRS and using ERS, can he maintain P4 ahead of Nick Race Again? Yes, he can. But Nick now, potentially an opportunity to come back at him at the end of this lap, as Waitsy and Flexi there side by side, and the Mata now around the outside of turn 3. Job done for the Mata, maybe. No, Flexi's got to get the move back to Waitsy, and because of it he loses a further 2 positions, as the Mata now up into P7. So he is putting in a bit of a fight to try and maintain the championship lead in terms of the Formula Euro Open, the regional championship. Glock out of DRS range. This is Race Again's opportunity here around the outside into turn 10. We'll look for a switchback line perhaps. No, Nick Race Again got completely blocked off by Glock. Glock has a big mistake though. Here comes Nick down the inside into the penultimate corner. Nick Race Again and Glock side by side, but Nick Race Again is going to get through up into what will be the final podium position. Crosses the line. He will get P3, Glock will get P4, Big Boy Ewan in P5, Casper will drop to P6 for those time penalties. My God, what an end to that race. Time penalties coming into effect, and of course costing Casper in the end. Flexi, the contact under the safety car with Casper, cost him also. And yeah, it is what it is. But what a fantastic drive we have seen from several drivers out here tonight. But of course, I mean, Enzo hasn't really put a foot wrong all race. I mean, Nick Racegan has been thereabouts as well. Hasn't really put a foot wrong either. Yoshin, a fantastic drive in what to me I believe is his debut race here tonight. So Yoshin does pick up a podium in his first race here in VSL. But we'll run you through the order one more time. It's of course Enzo who takes victory ahead of Yoshin, who will join him on the podium along with Nick Racegan completing that podium. Glock in P4. Is it enough to take the regional championship lead? I think it could be, as Big Boy Ewan comes home in P5. Casper in P6 with the fastest lap, so that's a good haul of points for Casper. The Matter in 7th place with Waitsy in 9th, Leroy in 10th, and Speed Gareth rounding out the top 10. Flexi though, unfortunately he did retire on the final lap, but he is classified in 11th place. Now of course our non-finishers were Lakatu, Finley, Jinx, Yaham, Knighton and Tib. And my god, heartbreak for Finley and Lakatu. That is all of what I could say is heartbreak for the pair of those drivers, because the game unfortunately took away their ability to go ahead and get a good result out of this. Glock with the drive through at the start. Obviously it didn't look like he was going to be able to get onto the podium, but that late safety car did bring him back into contention. Just didn't have the ERS and the pace at the end to just manage to get the podium. Did end up losing out to Nick Race again. A little bit of a wiggle through the final sector was all that it happened, and Glock settles for P4. Casper could have been a very good result, but time penalties going against the McLaren driver, the ERT man, and I mean we'll have to see what happens. I mean Enzo does take the win, and of course it is his very first win here in VSL, so massive congratulations to Enzo for that. And of course to Nick and Yoshin who join him on the podium. There will be several drivers who will feel very aggrieved with this race. Of course Lakatu, Finley, Jinx are a part of it as well, because remember Jinx got a 5 place grid drop after Casper crashed out in qualifying and his car got reset on track, and it caused a 5 place grid drop for Jinx. So I mean, Jinx qualified P3 and he had to start from P8, so maybe Jinx will feel a bit aggrieved by that as well, because he got involved in an early incident which probably wouldn't have happened if he was in the actual spot. But yeah, that is going to bring an end to round number 9 of the championship. Of course, next week, round number 10, the final race in the Formula Euro Open. Who will be taking the championship there? Will it be the Matter? Will it be Glock? Will it be Casper? Johan losing out big points here today. Will it be Enzo with a big result, a big win for him, puts him into contention for the regional championship? Who will be taking home the Formula Euro Open next week when we go racing for round number 10 at the Portuguese Grand Prix, as we go racing at Portimao? I don't know. We'll have to tune in next week. Of course, Jess will be back next week to join me in the commentary box and bring you through all the action, and hopefully I'll be I won't suffer from insomnia like the night before, so I'll actually be a bit more awake and a bit more energetic. But hopefully everything went well tonight, and also in Tier 2 as well. But that is going to bring an end here to VSL Tier 1 tonight. I have of course been Ivory Mike, and we'll catch you next week for round number 10 at the Portuguese Grand Prix. Until then guys, good night.